Good morning, my dear children. Today we are going to study the next poem of your textbook, First Flies, A Tiger in the Zoo. This is a poem written by the Welsh poet Leslie Norris. Leslie Norris is a Welsh poet. What is a Welsh poet? Welsh poets are English poets. They come from Wales, a countryside of England. Leslie Norris is a short story writer too. Okay, before moving on to the poem, let me ask you something. How many of you have visited a zoo? Most of you must have. Have you ever felt that those animals in the cage are happy? When the poet wrote this poem, he did not thought about it, or he wanted us to imagine about how we felt when we are inside a cage. But in this present situation, when we ourselves are locked down, we know how we are feeling when we are inside our houses. We are eagerly waiting for this lockdown to end, to go out, to be in that situation which we were, where we were very happy. So this is the same condition of the animals too. They too want to be in their natural habitat, where they are free to move, where they are free to hunt, and they are free for everything. They also don't like to be in a cage. In this poem, Leslie Norris is telling us about our agony of a helplessness of a tiger who is captivated or confined in a zoo. And he contrasts or compares the life of an tiger inside a cage and also in its natural habitat. So, now let us take a look at the poem. The first stanza. He stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on paths of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So here the poet explains, or the poet starts by telling the tiger, introducing the tiger as he. He stalks, the tiger stalks. The new word stalks. What do you mean by stalks? Stalks means to walk or to follow. He stalks in his vivid stripes. Again, next new word, vivid. Vivid means bright colored. We know the color of a tiger. So here the tiger is inside the cage. The tiger is walking in his vivid stripes, in his beautifully or bright colored skin. The few steps of his cage. He can only take few steps inside his cage. So you can understand how far the cage is big. So he is taking few steps inside the cage on pads of velvet quiet. Pads here means the paws of the tiger, the paw of the tiger or the feet of the tiger. White tells that the paw of the tiger is very soft. It's comparing the paw of the tiger to that of a velvet and is very quiet. One cannot hear the sound of his movement. In his quiet rage, quiet means silent, but rage very angry. The poet uses the two words together to show that how is the tiger suppressing his anger. Very quiet. He's very quiet because he's suppressing his anger. Why is the tiger angry? Because he is not free. So the poet says that the tiger that is confined in the zoo moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can only take few steps because the cage is small. And his footsteps, nobody can hear his footsteps because it is very soft. That is like velvet. And the tiger is trying to control his anger. He's suppressing his anger and is very quiet inside the cage because he is not at all free. He is inside a cage. So next we take a look at the second stanza. The first stanza, we understood that the tiger was inside a cage. Second stanza, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where the plump deer pass. So here we can understand that the tiger is not in the zoo or inside a cage. The poet imagines what would be the tiger doing if he was in his natural habitat or if he was in the forest. So what he will be doing? If the tiger was free, he would have hid himself. Lurking means to hide himself, waiting to catch the prey. So he should be lurking in shadow. He might have been lurking or hiding himself in shadow of the sliding through long grass. He might have been waiting his prey to come and to catch that. He might have been waiting behind the long grass. So that could be easily to catch a deer who comes to drink water near the water bodies. With the plump deer pass. Plump deer means fat deers. After eating, they come there near the water hole to drink water, and tiger is waiting to catch the prey. So the poet imagines the tiger and tells that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his own prey, but now he cannot do that because he is in a cage. So the third stanza, again, where is the tiger? He should be snarling around the houses at the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. So now, where is the tiger? Again, the tiger is in the forest. Now what is it doing? The poet says that the tiger, if it was free, he should be snarling. Snarling means making warning sounds to terrorize the people. So he would be he's making his sound around the houses at the jungle. There will be people who is living near the jungle's edge. There will be so many houses, and the tiger would be making big sounds so that the people will be afraid of this mighty creature. Bearing his white fangs, his claws, he would terrorize the people by showing his sharp tooth and claws. And all the people are the villagers are afraid of this mighty creature. So he will be showing his mighty strength there by telling that people should be afraid of me. So the second and third stanza tells us that the tiger is what would be the tiger if he was in his natural habitat or in the forest. We are moving on to the fourth stanza. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring the visitors. So, but now where is the tiger? The poet comes understand himself that the tiger is not there. Tiger is inside the cage, but he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength. Here the poet is using strength to show the body of the tiger. But actually the poet means by using the word strength by telling that the whole mighty, where he used to terrorize the villagers, where he used to catch the prey, that whole strength is behind the bars of the cage. Stalking the length of his, just simply, very quietly walking in the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. He used to terrorize the villagers, but here he is ignoring the visitors. He don't want to terrorize because he know that he's inside and people will not be afraid of him. So he never tries to terrorize visitors because he know that he cannot attack them. His powers are completely confined inside the cage. And the last stanza, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So, the last stanza tells that how is the tiger feeling at night. The whole day there were a lot of visitors visiting him, and he was moving very quietly because he was thinking about how he would be if he was in the natural habitat. And when everything comes to an end, the last voice he hears is that of a patrolling cars. The patrolling means cars which may like the police cars which move around to see whether anything is happening around. So he can only hear the sound of those patrolling cars and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So now he's simply lying down on his cage and stares at the brilliant stars with his brilliant eyes. So brilliant is used, the word is used repeated twice in this poem, show that maybe the tiger is imagining by looking at the brilliant stars, by thinking that how the stars are free and he cannot do that, or he's looking at the brilliant stars just thinking that he can only, now what he can do is simply looking at the sky and lay down with his brilliant or beautiful eyes. So this is the explanation of the poem. I hope you have understood. Now let us take a look at the poetic devices of the poem. So the poetic devices, we know that the poetic devices here, the first poetic device is rhyme scheme. We always used to tell that the first poetic device is rhyme scheme. So what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? The rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, C, B. Because the first stanza, you can understand that stripes, cage and rage rhyme with each other. So we give B, B. Stripes and quiet are different. So it is A, C. So each of the 5 stanzas of A Tiger in the Zoo follows the same simple rhyme scheme A, B, C, B. The second literary device or the poetic device coming in this poem is repetition. We have already discussed that in the last poem too. Repetition means repeating of the same words or a same phrase to emphasize the idea by the poet. So in this poem, 2 words, that is brilliant and quiet, is repeated. The word quiet is repeated in order to emphasize that the tiger was extremely silent. He was not making any type of movement. And the word brilliant depicts the freedom of stars shining bright in the sky, which longed by the tiger. Tiger also want to be just like that brilliant stars which is shining in the sky. The third poetic device is alliteration. We already discussed too. It was the occurrence of the same consonant sound in the connected words. So there are a lot of alliteration here, just like should be lurking in shadow, sh sound is repeated, plum, dear, pass, per sound is repeated, concrete itself. So alliteration, repetition of the same consonant sounds. The next one or the next literary device is metaphor. A metaphor is a direct comparison between 2 very different things. And so that the interpreter or the reader can make his own image. Here pads of velvet. So the pad or the paw of the tiger is, the poet compares that to that of a velvet, smooth velvet, to make us understand that how smooth the paws are, just like that of a velvet. Next poetic device is personification. We have studied personification. What is personification? Personification is giving another living being qualities of a human being. The poetic device is used to bestow human qualities on something that is not at all human. Here the poet calls the tiger as he. He is addressing the tiger as he. Actually, we used to address the animals or the things just like it. But instead of using it, the poet is addressing the tiger as he. So, there he personifies all the qualities of human being to that of a tiger. That is why the poet is calling him he, just like a human being. So, that literary device is personification. The next literary device is metonymy. This is a new literary device for you. So what is metonymy? Metonymy is a figure of speech that replaces the name of a thing with the name of something else, but which is closely associated. The poet might be using one word, but that word will be associated with another thing and will be showing something else. Here, the word strength is used. The poet is using the word strength used to mean just one. When we read once, we can only understand that the word strength means the body of the tiger. But the poet actually means that the entire strength of this majestic creature who used to terrorize the villagers, who used to attack the deers and all, is completely locked up in a cage. That is what metonymy is. The next poetic device is oxymoron. Again, oxymoron is the next new poetic device for you. Oxymoron is use of 2 opposite words together in a phrase or together. The 2 completely opposite words are used together. In the poem, we can understand that in the first stanza, quiet, rage. Quiet means very silent. Rage means angry. So these 2 words which are opposite to each other are used to show the suppression of the anger by the tiger. So these are the poetic devices in this poem. So I have already told you in the last video that every literary piece has a message to the human beings, to the living beings. So what is the message of this poem? The poet conveys an important message that the wild animals should be in their natural habitat. In this poem, he heightens the contrast between freedom and captivity. He very impressively shows us how love for freedom is a natural instinct of every living being. So this is the message of the poem. For our happiness, we cannot take someone and put inside a cage and restrict their freedom. So next is the central idea of the poem. You can go through it. And next we have some questions that to be answered in your notebook. Hope that you have understood the poem. Thank you, my dears, and have a nice day.